In this video, we'll be talking about parallelism. Okay, so parallelism is basically a general rule you follow when you're listing more than one thing. So this may not make sense at first, but when we go through examples, you'll start to see that there's a certain pattern that emerges. So the general rule, and really the only rule with parallelism, is keep everything the same. So let's look at this first example. Water treatment plants keep the public safe by, now here's a list of things that's coming, removing pesticides, bacteria, and other contaminants from the water supply. So, oops, my bad. So here is our list of things: pesticides, bacteria, other contaminants. See how they're all the same? All of them are nouns, and they're following the same pattern. Now let's look at another example so you can see how it changes, how you can kind of change the sentence, but still follow the rule of parallelism. Water treatment plants keep the public safe by removing pesticides, removing bacteria, and removing other contaminants from the water supply. So here, again, you're following the rule of parallelism because you have the same word at the beginning of each, or before each noun. So again, you have the same noun and it repeats through every single, you have the same word and it's repeating at the beginning of every single item in the list. As long as you're keeping it the same, you're following the rule for parallelism. So let's just look at some more examples. George likes to read magazines, to watch television, and to play video games. So again, you're starting each list with to read, to watch, and to play. These are all verbs and they're all in the same tense and they all start with to read, to watch, and to play. So now here's where things get a little bit tricky maybe. George likes to read magazines, watch television, and play video games. Now you may be thinking this is grammatically incorrect, but actually it is not. As long as you use the word to once and use it only in the beginning, it is implied that to is also in front of watch and to is also in front of play. But this can only happen if you're using to once and if it's in the beginning. If this sentence said, George likes to read magazines, to watch television, and play video games, then you're breaking the rule of parallelism because then it becomes to read, to watch, and play. It has to be to read, to watch, and to play, or it has to be to read, watch, and play. Now the last sentence. George reads magazines, watches television, and plays video games. So this is basically the same as this sentence, but I just changed the tense of the verb. The verb tense must stay the same throughout the entire sentence. Okay, now let's do an example from the actual SAT. So for our purposes, this was a question, actually. Number 7 was a question, and the correct answer was as. So we're just going to cross that out and put the word as there. So read this sentence and try to figure out the answer to number 8. It'll be a answer regarding parallelism. So pause the video and try to figure out the answer. Okay, so now let's go through this. Nutritionists consider Greek yogurt to be a healthy food. It is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves as a digestive aid, and it contains few calories in its unsweetened, low, and non-fat forms. Okay, so so if we didn't change anything, this would be the answer that we would end up with. So now remember what I just said in the previous slide. The word to is implied before watch. It's implied before play, but it cannot be implied if it is used more than once or if it is used in a place other than the first item in the list. Right here, we have the word it. So it is an excellent source of calcium protein, serves as a digestive acid. So based on this, it is implied to be in front of serves, right? So now to follow the rule of parallelism, we cannot have the word it in front of contains, because otherwise you would need the word it in front of serves. If you try to think of it this way if this is confusing you. Remove all the unnecessary words and just read this in terms of parallelism. It is, serves, and it contains. Those three items in the list, they're different. Two of them have the word it, one of them doesn't. So A cannot be the correct answer. Let's move on to B. It is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves as a digestive acid, and containing few calories. So now this is changing the verb tense. Now the sentence is, it is, serves, and containing. The three of them are completely, none of them correspond with one another. So containing cannot be the answer. Next one. It is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves as a digestive aid, and contains few calories. Now that makes sense. You can't, as I mentioned before, you can't have the word it because it is already implied to be in front of here. So if you have the word contains, it becomes, it is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves as a digestive aid, and contains few calories. So now you use the word it is only once, and it's in the beginning, and the rest of the words flow very nicely. So C is most likely our answer. Now just in case, let's just look at D. It is an excellent source of calcium and protein, serves as a digestive aid, and will contain few calories. Will contain is, again, a different tense. It's the same problem with B as B. It would be correct if the sentence was, it will be an excellent source of calcium and protein, will serve as a digestive aid, and will contain few calories. But will isn't used at all in this sentence, so this can't be the correct answer. So the key takeaways to take from this is just keep everything in the same pattern. If everything is a noun, keep everything as a noun. If everything is a verb, keep everything as a verb. And if they are verbs, make sure they all are in the same tense. Don't be switching from past to present, from future to past. Keep it all in the same tense, and you'll be all good to go for parallelism. And again, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have any questions, reach out to either Umar and I, and we'd be more than happy to help.